How's it going, Bitcoin lovers? Someone asked me to go over their list. So I'm going to go over the list, and then I'll stop the video, and then I'll start a new one for the percent gainers and the volume gainers. See if we can pick something up from the bottom instead of running from the top. I'm going to start with this XPM. You can see on the I'm always starting with the weekly chart. This is tradingview.com. It's free with just a login, and then I have my Poloniex over here in case I see something I own and I need to sell it. Just remember, it's never too early to take profits. It's greed that wants you to get the best price. So never be ashamed if you sell early. Just know that you are the winner. And it's very hard to pick the exact tops. So sell on the way up, sell into resistance, purchase on the support lines. My resistance on the way up is the 13, the 8, and the 34. And those represent previous lows. Previous lows. Right now we're coming off a weekly chart. You can see the pop here, and then the elongated J curve coming in right here. It's a very nice bullish consolidation long-term chart. Not a perfect J curve, but you can see that price is coming off the bottom through the first lines of resistance. We can now see that the 8 is crossing over the 13. Follow that 8 all the way up. And what you want to do, just to make it easy, I like to make things easy, is just follow previous lows all the way up for resistance. So I got resistance at 44478. And then I got resistance at, is that let's just call it 0001. That's 4 zeros there, sorry. So it already hit resistance, came back into support. It's trying to turn around. So what we do now is look for a narrow. And you can see on XMP, I loaded up on mine. Again, if you don't know what you're doing, please don't follow my trades, because I make mistakes too, so don't get mad at me when you make a mistake following me. So I got a previous high over here. I got a previous high over here. So I got previous highs for support, and I got previous highs over here for resistance. I got a nice flat top break here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got a whole line of resistance there. I'm waiting for this to get another pop. And might need to consolidate some. Who knows? But I got a higher low. I got a flat top break coming in. It hit resistance, came back into support, gave us a trend line. So it could come back into support. If it doesn't hold support, you got to get out. That's the best thing about buying into support. If it breaks previous highs, comes back into support, you buy it. You can buy the break, but know that there's always a throwback most of the time. So if it breaks out, put your order in right away at the support. See if it'll come down and grab you. If it doesn't, and you think it's going to keep on running, then you grab on. Take a ride. Buy into support, sell into resistance. Right now I got resistance at previous highs, which is 7.5. 7.5, let's just call it 7.6. Get above previous highs. You get above previous highs, then we got support. We can take out that top peak over here. It looks like it's raring up to go. Watch for a bullish breakout on volume. You need volume to get over resistance. So through time, I'll probably add positions because I know that this flat top break is coming. I got a higher low. Price is coming back in, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's called price pinch. I call it the price pinch. Where's resistance at the top, support at the bottom, coming back and forth, pop. So, moving on to the next one. Let's just start with this ZEC at the top there. While we're at it, let's look at the daily. So it popped already on the daily, came back into support, and now it's breaking a flat top. All we need is volume. So far, it's a good day on volume. Just needs a little pop. We're working to take out this double top here at what is that? 0001. So resistance coming in. Sell at resistance. If you bought here, shave off some profits here. It'll come back into support. We can try again. Or you can just hold it because longer term, it looks like it's changing trend on the bottom there. We need to make higher highs to confirm that bottom. Taking a look at ZEC, Zcash. I know I found this at the bottom. It's coming back into support now. So you have the pop, the bullish retracement, I call it. It's a bullish consolidation right over the 34. My favorite move, highest probability move that I know of, aside from reversal bars maybe, is the move across the 34 and then the move back into support. As the 8 crosses, follow that 8 all the way up. Sometimes it'll bend across just a little bit and throw back on the upside. But that's my favorite move. If you watch my videos on my other channel, you know this all day long. I look for this move all day long. This is an hourly chart though. So let's look at the weekly to start off with. We need to know where we are at on the chart long term. So let's get a line in here. I got previous highs at 7.4. Oh, excuse me. Let's call it, I got previous lows and previous highs at 7.4. Oh, what is that doing? Why is it doing that? There it goes. 7. Let's just call it 7. Previous lows, previous highs. I got a balance point at 7. Anything across 7, use that as your support. It did break through, and now it's coming back in. Where is it coming in? Coming into previous breaks. I got a previous break right here. So it came into support and bounced right back out. Support's got a hold. It also broke into previous lows, which is that range that we're in now, all the way up into the 7. So without anything else, we narrow it down. Let's look at the daily. I got a two bar pattern working. That's a reversal. You can see the move into the 34 rejection came back into support. I got a falling star here. Came back into, can't say that it's into support because it missed the mark. Here's the previous high. You can also use 50% rule, the long candle here. So that didn't hold it, but it turned around on a dime, making a double bottom. Now it's going to come back through. Coming back through, watch for the flat top breaks. That's So it went through, came back in, and now it's going to try again. So far rejected by resistance. It's got to build. And looking at the hourly, it looks like a nice little pop, came into support, made a nice reversal bar here, ran. All we got to do is keep momentum going. Let's break out 0.064. Take out that reversal bar. Reversal bars, candles, they have strong support and reverse and resistance lines. So take out the top of that, take a ride. If it comes back into support, you can buy into support. It's probably your best buy. If support does not hold and it breaks down into the next range, then you know you made a mistake and you got to get out. All right, so that's CEC. Let's keep going. Unity. Oh, I'm blind here, sorry. All right, so for Unity, it made a double top. It's coming back into support. Support's got to hold. That's the hourly chart. Thing is about Unity is it broke and it came back all the way back into support. Yesterday's close was a little bit higher than usual, but it came all the way back in. And you can see on the weekly how nice that inverted hammer is. Let's get a another run. It broke out, came all the way back into support. That's the head fake of head fakes, the inverted hammer on the long-term chart. So that being said, let's look at the hourly again. So we had a nice support line here that was broken, came back into support. Now we have an opposing point on the way up on the short term. Support's got to hold. Look for volume. We need some volume. We got decreasing volume through that downturn. Now, if that downturn had an increasing breakout volume, I would be concerned. But all that happened here was it came back into support. As it settles in, watch for a bullish breakout on the volume. Easy peasy. Support's got to hold. If support doesn't hold, it's going to come back into the previous highs or previous breaks. So, I saw this down about 60% this morning. I picked some up, and then it bounced all the way back up to like 15%. So it's like a 60% move on the bounce. I'm pretty much loaded up on it myself. I'm waiting for that weekly chart. I got a huge one double bottom, one double bottom, and then I got a short-term double bottom. That's a nice W here. It's a longer-term W here. We have a volume breakout. It broke out, came all the way back into support. Buy into support, sell into resistance. Sell into resistance. Thing is, now that top line needs to be changed. Our opposing point. I'm going to take this previous high. So there we go. We have resistance on the way up, and we have support on the way down. If support doesn't hold, you got to get out. I would use this previous low as support. But like I said, we have a bullish W pattern. We have a smaller W pattern here. So it came all the way back into support. I'm gathering that this is going to turn around. Let's see shorter term. See if we can find a reversal bar on the 15-minute chart. Look at that. Long-legged doji. right on the 15-minute bar. Fill the gap. I got a flat top break coming in at 0044. There you go. Take a ride. Look at that J curve of the 8 coming across the 13 here. So we have a 2-bar or a 3-bar pattern here. Came across the 13, the 8, 8 and 13, came back into support, closed above the both of them, curving that 8 as it crossed. Once we get across here, we'll probably get a little pop back in resistance. So that being said, after it breaks down, we have resistance on the way up. So we'll have to fight a little bit. Always use volume for help. All right, so Unity. Let's see, what do we got here? Let's go to Litecoin. All right, so let's start. I don't like that 15-minute chart already. We got a falling star, but it's above support, so it could turn into an inverted hammer over support. We'll come back to that in a minute. Let's look at the weekly. If you knew on this one, I've been trying to find the bottom for a little while. These are weekly charts, right? So each candle is a week. It broke out, came all the way back in, and kind of now is like sloping down in. I finally got a churn. I got resistance at previous lows at 0.0053. Let's make it just even at 0.005. I already have the line there. We made a double bottom. Came across the initial resistance lines into previous lows, up and down in. Support's got to hold. If support holds, take the previous high break and take a ride. I got previous lows at 5 and then on up to 6. So lots of resistance on the way up, but you can use these to find bottoms. There was a couple times this inverted hammer right here, I thought it was going to be a bottom, but it never panned out. So anything could happen. That's a nice reversal bar. Consider 6 to be a nice resistance line, as that reversal bar is pretty sweet. But get above the inverted hammer on the way up. You're liable to go into the next previous lows pronto. So it looks like we have a bottom. I have a bullish encompassing pattern encompassing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 previous candles on a weekly chart. So nice so far. Let's make higher highs. Into resistance, over resistance, back into support. Back over resistance, back into support. Keep riding. Watch the volume. So Litecoin is coming off of a bottom. We got to keep it rolling. You never know what's going to happen. It looks like on the hourly, I got a higher low. Okay. I'm into resistance right now. Lo and behold, that is where the 34 is on the hourly. So let's get over that. Let's get into previous lows, ride the range all the way up. All right. That's the hourly chart. Hourly chart looks good. I got higher lows coming into previous lows. All we need is volume. Volume looks like it's creeping in off that bottom here. Higher low. Looks like volume's coming in. Trying to get over that crack. Into previous lows. There it goes. I'm going to have to pause for a sec. Alright, so Litecoin. Let's look at Dash. All right, look at Dash on the bottom here. Now we all know, let's look at the weekly first, sorry. We all know Dash took a real nice run for 1, 2, 3 weeks straight. Okay? Whenever you see that, you got to let them rest. what we're looking for is a bottom and then an opposing point, and then support has to hold. I would use previous highs. Right now it's holding 50% rule, barely. I got a higher low so far. What I'm looking for, we'll go back to that hourly chart. What I'm looking for is an opposing point pop. So run this up into resistance. That's a nice little pop into resistance, nice U. Dash looks like it's going to have a little bottom play here. We had a descending or a ascending triangle breakdown here. So trying to find a bottom. Where are we at? We have any reversal bars down here? We got a back and forth. Tested support, came into resistance, tested support on a higher low. There's a line. And then we can use that 34 coming on in as our resistance. That's our pattern. But that being said, use previous highs as support. Oh, and lo and behold, there's the 8. All right, so right now, what we're looking for, because we have a pop, we have a nice little U, making this a nice cup and handle. Look for a flat top break at 0.087. There you go. That's Dash. Now Dash has a lot of resistance coming in. It already ran, so I wouldn't hold it too long. What I like to do is buy my core, sell into resistance, sell my core, and then have free shares into wherever it wants to go. Once I have free shares, I don't care where it goes. I will manage it, but it's free shares. You know what I mean? So Dash looks like we're going to get a little run. We're into previous lows. So the range is all the way up into the next range is 0.10, which is right where that long-term resistance line is coming in. So we're looking for a bounce into resistance one more time. It pops, comes into support, pops into resistance, comes back into support. We carry on with this line. If we break outside the line, we'll change our opposing point. Ultimately, we want to get a flat top break at 12. Put your orders in at resistance, right below resistance, just above support on your buys. Okay, so that's Dash. Let's look at Omni. Pretty sure I'm loaded up on this one too. Now, long term, it's a weekly chart. What we're looking for is a long-term trend breakout. So take these lines there. All right, that's our resistance on the way up. So if I'm buying from the bottom, I'll probably sell half at resistance. If it runs on up, then I'm golden. I'm not risking my core value anymore. I know I'm loaded up on the bottom here, so let's take a look why. All right, I got a nice hammer off the bottom, reversal bar, spike low. Look at that 8 coming across. I got a punch over resistance, the initial resistance, previous highs, into previous lows. Got set back in to support, made a higher low. Bam, bam. That's our pattern forming. So right now I got that 34. You don't need to draw a line because 34 is resistance. And I got an upward trend with the higher lows. So what happened? I got a reversal bar. I broke that reversal bar, hit resistance. Bam. Came back into support, made a opposing line, opposing point, closed above support, or above resistance, excuse me, and then I had a flat top break recently. It popped, came back into support. That inverted hammer is the start of the move. So it popped, came back into support, which was the previous high breaks, or the downward trend line. It broke previous highs here, pop, came back into support. When it pops over the 34, it comes back into support. That's my bullish retracement. That is a nice reversal bar over support. It's got to hold. But I got a nice little tight pattern forming. And ultimately, we can just use these two bars here, I guess. So we're in a pattern now. We've got higher lows, lower highs. We have a pattern. Let's go inside the pattern, pop. All right, so that's weekly. Let's see how we're doing on the hourly. Make sure we're not falling over, because support does have to hold. Little choppy on the hourly. But we had a pop, back into support, back into support. I got a nice hammer here. Not perfect. I wish the leg was longer, but came into support. Let's break previous highs at 0.0056. Get this thing running again. Another noticeable fact is the declining volume into support. Okay. Boom. Look for a volume breakout, as if there was a trend line. Oh my God, come on. Never mind, I can't draw a trend line, but you can see it, right? The declining volume. We need a volume breakout to get us over resistance. Where's our resistance? We need to get above previous highs. So we've got a lot of work to do on the way up. But that long-term chart is beautiful. Here's the daily. Popped, inverted hammer. Popped, inverted hammer. Let's break. Let's hold previous highs, which it has. Let's build, and ultimate break is 0.0086. It looks like on the way up. Two inverted hammers over each other. Nice volume breakout on the daily. Pretty nice. Okay, so that's Omni. SBD, previous runner. Oh my goodness, look at that inverted hammer. Wow. All right, so let me pause for a second, see where I am in my position. All right, so you can see the obvious breakout and the comeback into support scenario once again. Love that. Now, is it going to run right away? Probably not. But these things, all it needs is volume, right? Had a volume break and it just took off. Nothing holding it back. Right now, the only concern I have is it broke out and it came below the downward trend line. I would have loved it if it came back in to support and turned around. But that being said, I have higher lows. So hold support. All it needs is volume. It'll follow that wick all the way back up. Let's see. Let's look at the intraday. All right, support's got to hold. Looks like a nice reverse head and shoulders coming off of support. Let's see, I'll draw this line. Okay. Oh. Kind of crappy. drawing, but you can see the left, the head, and the right shoulder. Probably see it better without the crap. The right shoulder, the head, left shoulder, it's coming in. I need a churn on this thing. Support's got to hold. 00109. Hang on a second. So sometimes those right shoulders will be dragged on in, and what they're doing to me is it's stretched beyond belief, like a slingshot being pulled back, and then they let it go. That's a reverse head and shoulders. Break that neckline, previous highs 0013. 0013. This has got to turn around. It's got to hold that line of support, otherwise it's going to be stretched on in. I got previous highs over here that it can come back into. Let's get above this previous high over here. Let's step it up and get it over here. Lots of resistance on the way up. Like I said, this thing already ran pretty heavy, but it came all the way back into support, so I'm not going to be shy. I'm just going to tap, tap, tappy into support. And that daily chart looks pretty nice to refer to. Okay, so the daily chart, remember the pop over the 34. Pop, you got a rising bounce here, came over, came into support, pop. Previous high break was the game winner. But if you saw that coming into support, crossing over the daily, coming into support, you would have caught every bit of that. Watch the pop on every time frame over the 34 back into support. Buy into support. All right, so let's keep it going. I got note. Okay, let's start off with a long-term chart. Always, you can even go to the monthly. Monthly's even better to see previous lows, previous highs. Okay, that's what we're looking for lines of resistance. Trying to keep it real simple. And believe me, it works. So let's look at the weekly. All right. Now I use the weekly. That's our swing trades. That swing trades you hold for more than a day, more than a few days. Sometimes the intermediate trends change trend for 3 to 6 months. So that's why we are buying on the weekly trend breaks. All right, so you see the longward trend line as resistance. It popped into resistance, came back in so far. So far it's got to hold previous lows. If it doesn't, it'll come back into next previous lows. If that doesn't hold, watch out below. Nice pop over the initial parts of resistance into the other parts of resistance. And when I'm above the intermediate parts of resistance and makes it to support, pops in through resistance here. So I got support down here, resistance up here, price in the middle. We're in the range. Don't trade in the range. Wait for it to come back into support, or wait for it to come back outside the range. So the range is fixed. I got support and resistance. You're in the range. Now this is the price pinch. I call it the price pinch. We need to develop this. All right, we got a nice pop into resistance. We got higher lows, and that 34 we can use as a resistance line on the way down. So there you go. You've got a pattern. Bottomed, inverted hammer over support, inverted hammer over support. Got a bottom here, inverted hammer, pop. Watch it come into support sometime, or into the previous highs. Use previous highs as your support. You got higher lows as your support. You got previous highs as your support. Let it come back into support. Make another run at resistance. It could stay in here for a weekly chart. Could stay in here for a while. All right, so let's look at the daily. See how we're doing. So you see that pop into resistance. Sell into resistance. Now it's coming back into support. Where's that going to stop? I don't know yet. It can churn on a dime. Looks like volume's coming. Let's get this to change over. All right, so hourly, looks like we've got a thin line of support here. Watch it come back in. One thing that you have to notice is we're closing on the hourly below the 8. 8 is our initial support line, which means to me it's closing below previous highs. Previous highs have broken down. It's likely to come into the next range. And where's that end? The bottom of that range? Huge support line right there. So note on hourly, looks bearish. All right, so note to self. Note is not into support yet. It's falling below support. Our support was the previous highs, that 8. It's falling below. We do have 3 lines of support on the bottom here, but once it crosses over those lines, it bearish retraces back into resistance and falls over, coming back into the next line of support. So watch for that. All right, QTL. Let's look at that one. Ooh. I think I bought into this one this morning. Trying to find a bottom. Let's look at the weekly first. Oh, yeah. All right. So these all just ran yesterday, right? Everyone's like crazy. Gangbusters. You saw my video. I got previous lows here. I got previous lows here. Price did not hold previous highs. No support, no support, no support, no support. I got support at previous lows coming in at 2.5, 2.5. All right, I got a beautiful, beautiful inverted hammer over support. Watch for the previous high breaks and take another ride. It's likely with volume to follow that wick all the way back up until we get an opposing point. You know, lower high. This is the start of the pattern. So it's going to follow that wick up into resistance, come back into support. We're going to get a back and forth, back and forth. It's the initial start of the pattern. Let's look at the daily. And you can see the breakout coming back into support. Buy into support. I think I bought this morning. Hourly. And the hourly's got a hold. I got a double bottom. Came through support, back through resistance, made a double bottom. Let's get this back through. If that 8 continues to get price rejected, it's likely to fall and follow that trend. So is that the breakdown and the bearish retracement into resistance? So far, I have a double bottom that says no. Double bottom. Let's see if we can get a bounce out of this. Watch for volume on the way out. Cold, man. Oh, shit. All right, well, sorry about that. I thought I paused you for a second. I needed to, it's raining outside. I needed to close my windows. Take a potty break. So that's DCR. I got higher lows. I need to hold it. I think we went over Bella, didn't we? No, not yet. All right, so next one on the list is Bella. And just so you know, this is a client of mine. If you guys are interested in being a client, I'm offering personal services. So far, it's working out. He's my first client, so not to be too confident, but it seems to be working out pretty well. I'm giving him about 20 hours a month of personal service. We watch the open on the equities, and 3 hours of training on Sundays, equaling about, give or take, whatever it takes, actually. And it works out. Give or take about 20 hours a month. Personal service for about $500. My position is to get that $500 back to you as soon as possible so that you can use my services for free. I'm all about free services. Looks like Bella needs to hold that higher low. It looks like it might drop in because it's closing so far on the hourly below previous highs. That previous high has to hold. Okay, so far it's coming back through. The last line of defense is that upward trend line. And another thing to notice is the steeper the line, the less the support. I got a higher low coming through. It looks like it's not going to hold. So let me see how much I'm holding on this. I'll be right. Now I shaved off a little bit, but that being said, we are at support. So you have to wait until the candle closes below previous highs to confirm. Okay, so this might hit support, the higher lows, and just bounce right back above previous highs, holding support, maybe even making a reversal bar as it did right here. But that being said, I'm just shaved off just a little bit. And then, okay, so finally, we're going to look at one more game. All right, there you go. Hourly coming across at 34, holding support, little sideways action, consolidation over support. Watch the previous high breaks. Okay, we got a nice pennant right over support on the 34 on the hourly chart. Pretty good, pretty good. And that being said, we have a downward trend line that we need to surpass. So watch it come into resistance, come back into support, back and forth, bam! Looks bullish on the hourly. Let's take a look at where we're at on the daily and everything else. Looks like the 1-2 punch over resistance, back into support. Now it's riding its on the way up. That looks bullish on the daily. 1-2 punch. Previous high breaks have to take it out. And the weekly. Yep, that's bullish. It broke over previous trend lines, came back into support. Watch for previous high breaks at 00036. That'll be a nice spot to buy. It'll bam! So far, it broke that spot and threw back. You want to wait for it. Wait for it. Buy into support and buy the break. You got a nice flat top break. This might take forever to come back around. But so far, so good. That's going to do it for me. If I have time, I'll do another video later, and I'll do previous highs, or percent gainers and volume gainers. We need volume in this free market. I really love the way these trade. There's no market makers on the ask, on the bid, trying to hold you down, hold you up. These things, once they break resistance, they act naturally. Imagine that. I mean, still people can manipulate by throwing in a bunch of money on a 7770 stock or Bitcoin, but I mean, ultimately, technical analysis was made for this altcoin situation. I got previous highs, I got previous lows, going in and out of that channel. Please share, please like. Let me know what's going on out there. Someone mentioned BCN, and I did catch that. I think up to like 600% or so. Another one I'm waiting for is C2. And quite honestly, I own probably almost half of these now on a small basis from free shares. And it's quite fun. I mean, they're worth nothing. I have no idea what these Bitcoins are, altcoins, but having a great time. It reminds me of the late 90s when you can throw a dart, hit the board, and you get a winner. The old... was it the online bull market? Well, I forget what the late 90s. Pretty cool. From like 96 to 99 before it crashed. Watch for volume. Always watch for volume on these. Volume is the key on these. Lots of times you'll see the other markets and equities. You'll see volume come in, but then you have the commercials sitting on the ask holding you back. You don't have that. There's no big giant commercial market makers. So get in while you can. I mean, what can you ask for? I mean, yesterday we have 3,000%. Today we got 5 up to 6. We got 400 up to 550. I think Noble went up to NSR, HZ, all over 100%, 50%, 40%. I got to go clear down to get below 20%. And then also look at the ones that ran and look at the percent losers and watch them come back into support. So let's look at this BTCD real quick. BTCD. So it ran. It ran like a madman. Came back all the way back into support. Now, watch it come back in a little bit more if it will. But they're all doing the same thing. Yeah, see, it's breaking down on the hourly. So watch it come back. I got previous low support at 0.0085. I got previous high support at 0.0083. Watch it come down. I don't expect it to make a measured move on the way down because the previous breaks were at 0.0053. But it already has the opposing point. Oops. So let's just use that since it's not ready yet. I got the previous high. I got the previous high. So I got a downward trend line and higher lows so far. But I got a rejection here coming down. Watch for previous low breaks. Get the spike low. Maybe it'll come all the way back in. Put an order in where the previous breaks were. That's what I would do. Bam. Just above support. Bam. What is that? So as I hang up, I'm going to put in a buy order at 0056. How does that sound? That's a 100% decline from where it's at. Otherwise, support has to hold. If it turns around on a dime, watch for the downward trend line to break out. But it's coming into support soon. So there you go. Appreciate you guys. Share, comment, and like. I'm going to need your help. I don't think YouTube's promoting Bitcoin. So I need your help to spread the word. See ya.